you ever noticed how the moment you tell yourself to do better, you suddenly do worse? It happens to me all the time in tennis. I'm winning a match, I'm playing well, I'm relaxed, and then my brain jumps in with, Lucy, this is great. Now don't mess it up. Keep winning. And the moment that thought enters, I tighten up. I overthink. My shots get smaller and I start losing points. I was easily winning just seconds before. Have you ever felt that? Work, in sports, in life. That sudden shift from flow to fear. From I've got this to, oh no, what if I don't? That's emotional regulation. Or more accurately, that's emotional dysregulation. Your brain tries to protect you, but it ends up sabotaging you. Yes. Welcome to Corporate Therapy. I'm Lucy Police, career coach, productivity expert, and book author. And today we're talking about why your brain lies to you under pressure, how to challenge those thoughts with compassion, and why emotional regulation, not discipline, will become the most important career skill in 2026. Glassdoor dropped their 2026 Work-Life Trends report, and I will be sharing it in an article, and everything in that report confirms what I said. Emotional regulation is becoming the top career skill of the future. And today I'm going to go deeper, personally and professionally, to understand what that means. So last episode, I talked about time boxing, blocking 45 minutes, multitasking. But if your emotions really are not regulated, none of those things stick. Because productivity isn't really logical. It's emotional. Procrastination, multitasking, perfectionism. These aren't time management problems only. These are emotional regulation problems too. And now Glassdoor is showing us that the workplace is only getting more emotionally intense. Rolling layoffs, anxiety with all the AI tools that you need to use at work, leader-employee disconnect, the return to office, which is uncertain. More people are getting more days in the office, stagnating pay, rising stress for all the younger workers. Yeah. Welcome to 2026. Your success will really depend on how well you can regulate your emotions through this constant change. Now, what emotional regulation really means? Emotional regulation is not suppressing your feelings. It's not being calm all the time. It's an executive function, your brain's ability to notice an emotion, understand it, and then decide or choose how to intentionally respond to it. It's that space where you can choose what you want. When you're regulated, your nervous system feels safe. Your thinking is clearer, your creativity opens, you can enter the flow state. Now, you can shift from reaction to intention. When you are dysregulated, on the other side, you procrastinate. You multitask to escape discomfort. Or maybe you just seek control through perfectionism. Or maybe through micromanagement. You can stop thinking about work at night. All these things are making your capacity really shrink. And none of this is your fault. So why you might struggle to regulate if it's not your fault? Many people live in a dysregulated nervous system without realizing it. Why? One of the reasons is childhood conditioning. If you grew up with stop crying, your parents telling you to calm down, to not be dramatic, those things tell you a lot about how you need to suppress instead of soothe. That shows up at work as people pleasing, perfectionism, fear of feedback, overreacting to small things. Your nervous system is protecting you the way it learned when you were little. It could also be trauma or chronic stress. As Bessel van der Kolk explains in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, that I recommend that you read it. Trauma doesn't just live in your memories, it lives in your body. And trauma isn't limited to the obvious big events. It can come from years of emotional neglect, constant criticism from your parents or from other previous jobs, growing up around conflict, or living with instability. Your nervous system learns to stay on alert because it never felt consistently safe. So as an adult, even small, everyday situations can trigger a survival response. A meeting notification, as small as a Slack message from your manager, a change in someone's tone, maybe it seems more aggressive for you, a delayed email reply, a sudden request that feels urgent. To your thinking brain, these are minor events, but to your body, conditioned by chronic stress, they register these as danger. Another very common reason to be emotionally dysregulated is ADHD. The ADHD brain has emotional impulsivity, can go from 0 to 100 very fast. You feel everything very intensely. And it's really hard for you to regulate your emotions when something that you don't like happens. So then you can also crash very intensely too. And the last one that is also very common nowadays is burnout and digital overload. Notifications, multitasking, urgency culture in your work, fear of falling behind. Really, your nervous system never rests. Now, how this regulation shows up at work. First, probably it's very common, shows up through procrastination. You're avoiding the feeling, not the task. Most people think procrastination is laziness or lack of discipline, but it's not. Procrastination is an emotional protection strategy. You're not avoiding the report, the email, or the project. You're avoiding the emotion that shows up when you face it. Could be maybe anxiety, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, boredom, overwhelm, imposter syndrome. We're going to have a special chapter of imposter syndrome soon. Shame from I should have done it earlier. This is very, very common. The second way that emotional dysregulation shows up at work is like multitasking. You are escaping discomfort. You are not being productive by doing many things at the same time. It just keeps you busy, but doesn't mean that you are productive because maybe you're not doing things the right way. You're just jumping from one thing to the other based on the emails you get, based on the urgency of other people. But when you stay on one task long enough, you maybe hit a moment of discomfort, and that's what you're trying to avoid, right? You want to avoid the uncertainty or not knowing what to do, maybe the boredom or the frustration or not knowing what comes next. So that's why you prefer to just jump from one thing to the other. Multitasking gives you a quick hit of relief. Switching tasks is your brain ways of saying, I don't want to feel this, let's go do something easier. And the last one, and very, very common too, is the perfectionism. You're regulating shame through control. Perfectionism is the most misunderstood of the three. People think perfectionists have high standards, but perfectionism isn't driven by excellence in most cases. It's driven by fear. It's a way to escape the shame, the fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of disappointing others, of not being good enough, or fear that mistakes mean I'm not competent enough. When those emotions rise, perfectionism steps into soothing them. So that's why you write an email 10 times, you overanalyze your work, you delay hitting send for a document, you double check everything. It's really exhausting. So what I'm here to recommend is what I call the ABCD of self-talk. The key is to stay in the present moment, not get anxious about the future, not get too depressed or frustrated about the past, and start working on how to be more present. So the ABC model is a way to regulate your emotions in the moment. And I share more about this in my book, Timebox. So what is the ABC model? First, the A for awareness. Notice your feelings. What am I feeling? What story I'm telling myself? What does my body feel right now with this email or with this chat or with this performance review from my manager? Awareness really interrupts your autopilot and go back always to the same reaction of fear or overworking or avoiding. Then the B for breathing. You really cannot regulate your thinking without you regulating the body first. So you need to breathe down, breathe in and out to tell your body that you're fine. that you're safe. When you regulate your breathing and you're safe, your brain can think much better. And that's where you can perform at your best. So that's when you can go to the C step, which is challenge yourself with compassion. So instead of feeling bad about yourself or what you've done or what you couldn't do, just be curious. Ask yourself, is this 100% true? What else could be true about me? Is it that I'm lazy? Or is it that this is hard? What is really true about this? Is it that my manager doesn't like me, or it's just a text? Challenge the fear with kindness, not with force, with a lot of curiosity. And then once you have challenged yourself and ask yourself these questions to really see the truth of what's happening, that's when you can do the last step, the D, which is define an action. Is to take one tiny step, one small move, one moment, one thing that you can do today. Is how you move from thinking to doing. ABCD really turns emotional chaos into clarity and direction. So actually, when you re-regulate, everything shifts. As Anne Runkle says in her book, Re-Regulated, re-regulation is the journey back to balance. And when you regulate, everything shifts. You can think better, you can work better, you can sleep better, you can perform at your best. Because your brain feels safe and you can take actions that are intentional, that you were able to think. Because emotional regulation isn't just a skill. It's a state that allows you to access the best version of yourself. And here's where it matters most. When you're losing a game, when you're winning a game, when you're getting a stressful email from your manager, when someone questions your work, your timing, or your decisions, in all those moments, you still get to decide how you will respond. When you're regulated, you stop overreacting, you stop spiraling, you stop avoiding things. And instead, you start showing up as the grounded, confident version of yourself. You start choosing your actions instead of reacting from fear or shame. You start performing at your true capacity, not your anxious capacity, which is totally different. This is how you access your best work, your best thinking, and your best leadership. This is how you perform at your best. So really, honestly, the future belongs to the emotionally regulated. So if you want to go deeper, read the articles in the description of the podcast. And if you're ready to build emotional regulation into your daily habits, stay tuned for the next week episode. And you can also contact me for individual coaching sessions. And I will continue sharing tools to regulate perfectionism, multitasking, and procrastination in real time. And as always, this week, try it. Before reacting, take one deep breath. Choose your next move with intention. Follow the ABCD of self-talk. And I hope you do it and see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.